Food for thought from the Hoover.
Of course.
All right, are we ready? It's, today's the 14th, is that true? January? Yeah, and it's 2:15 PM, and I am Representative Shay Waters Evans from Charlotte. This is my formal introduction to some of you, because I was not here last week. My district is Chittenden 5, which is Charlotte, where I live, and a little piece of Heinsberg. During our earlier testimony, I did make a note to myself that maybe we should check the votes in Heinsberg because I only have about 100 voters over there. So just, cross
The
our
roads are right.
T's and dot our I's. So I was not here last Thursday and Friday because I went to a conference in Salt Lake City. It was the National Council of State Legislators had a post-election wrap-up huddle conference. There were maybe 60 people there. It was legislators who work on election laws, which would be us and our committee, and other senators, state senators and reps from around the country, and then also some secretaries of state and the deputy secretary of state who was just here earlier, Lauren Himbert, was also there. And the NCSL is, did you have during your orientation, did you have okay, so you got an overview from them. It's a nonpartisan organization that just provides like training and information and all kinds of great resources for legislators. I'd never been to one of their conferences before, and it was super cool. That's my official formal review. It was super cool. Because it was nice to be in a room with other people who are interested in the same thing and really giving a lot of thought. I know you spend a lot of time thinking about and working on elections. So it was interesting to be there. I'm not going to tell you every single thing I did over the weekend unless you want me to. I can talk for as long as I want. So, but mostly what I was going to tell you is it was really interesting. It was interesting to look at elections and the process that people use from like a strictly nonpartisan point of view, and to have people who had lots of different opinions and whose states operated and worked on elections and have different election laws. It was really interesting to see how people did it. One thing that we spoke about.
What was your favorite one? General
My favorite
state.
state?
That did something cool.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I'll tell you right now. No, it's a good
Right,
segue.
yeah.
Thank you, Representative Hoover. That was a good segue to what I was just about to say, which is that we had touched on last year, we talked about electronic voting, which is different from internet voting. It's not online voting, it's electronic voting. But I don't know if you remember, we had talked about maybe implementing that for people who are overseas in the military, and also people with disabilities. Sometimes it could be helpful for them. And we had looked into that, but it was interesting to me because it turns out Alaska and Utah have both been doing it. I can't remember which one of those states, but one of those states has been doing it for a decade, and with success and with little to no problem as far as, hacking is concerned or voting is concerned. So that was really interesting that they had been doing that. And then we had these roundtable discussions on different topics. And one of them was, we were talking about electronic voting. And someone said, well, why don't we use electronic voting then for all elections and for all ballots? And the answer, it was the elections official it was from Utah. We went to tour their election office. It was very cool. Davis County, where Salt Lake City is. Their elections, we had a tour of their elections office, but their elections director said that the danger is once you open it up to more people, that electronic voting, then you're automatically sort of opening yourself up for more opportunities for hackers or people who shouldn't be getting into that information. So that he thinks that it's, I guess the NSA said it's not like ready for prime time yet. You know what I mean? It's not ready for everybody because of those concerns for electronic voting, but that it has been working fine for smaller groups of people and smaller populations. So that was interesting. And I thought relevant to our committee, both because of the military affairs portion and because of the election focus. So that was really interesting. We got a tour of the Utah State House. I am happy for them, but sad for us to report that their chairs in the House of Representatives are big and have wheels and aren't connected to the floor, and they're not full of like horsehair or whatever ours are. And they have like a full back that comes all the way up. They were very comfortable. I sat in those chairs and really enjoyed it.
Fall asleep type chairs.
Oh, I don't
It's
know.
not pain chairs.
Yeah, my back wasn't hurting. It was great. So they have nice chairs there. But it was just really interesting. Not only, I encourage all of you, if you get an opportunity to go to one of those, you should go, because it's really cool to meet people from other states and sort of just get to, you know, have dinner with them and talk about how, you know, it was interesting to see how that idea of like state control then manifests itself in lots of different ways, from like the chairs that they sit in to like the way they run their elections and everything in between. It was just really neat to see. We have an extraordinary amount of legislators here in our house. I think, you know, maybe Utah has 3.5 million people or something, and they have maybe 50 in their house.
Yeah, it's all over the map. It's
Yeah, it's all over the place, but where was the place that had 400? Is that in
Oh my God.
Hampshire?
400.
Yeah.
They have a lot.
Yeah, so many, like each person gets their own syrup. But anyway, it was really valuable to talk about that. And then the other election we had a really interesting guy, and I wrote it down for you. It's called the Election Lab at MIT. Their website is electionlab.mit.edu. And they're also, this really interesting guy named Charles Stewart gave a talk, and he's going to share he made a whole PowerPoint presentation that he's going to share with me, and I'll share with you. Maybe we can put it on our committee website, about, he collects and analyzes data about elections, nonpartisan, just really attacking it from like a data point of view, and just looking at doing surveys and talking to people about their confidence in elections and how different aspects of it work and how this affects, you know, certain things affect how many people are voting and how voter confidence inspires people to vote and all that stuff. He gave a great talk that was really interesting, and I urge you to check out the material that they put out, because oh, and another thing was, this is just an interesting fact. So we did pass some legislation. They had a whole list of concerns that people have when they go to vote. And as people who have in this room have all run campaigns before, it was interesting to say that when voters reported a disturbance, I mean, it doesn't have to be an actual disturbance, but like a disturbance that they saw at their polling place, someone outside holding a sign was the most commonly reported disturbance. So just something to keep in your pocket if you're ever out there
And we're all
holding a sign.
pretty
It's
disruptive.
considered a disturbance by Tommy Taper.
Yay.
And there was a nice low percentage, which maybe we would hope could be zero, but I guess the percentage for people who reported a disturbance involving a firearm was only 2%. So, and we don't know what those actually were, but that's relatively small. And also now it's against the law to bring a gun into a polling place in Vermont anyway. So we're hopefully going to be good on that moving forward. But does anybody have any questions? Yes.
How many
Representative
conferences have you gone to?
That was my first NCSL conference.
It'll be cool when you go to your next one, you'll see a lot of the same people.
I hope so.
Mhm.
They were really great. And it was also the National Association of Secretaries of State was there too. It was put on by them also.
Who's the president of that, do you know?
Um,
Which Secretary of State?
the one from Utah,
Yeah. okay.
which is why I believe
Did
it
you
was
say
in
that?
Utah.
Did I miss that?
I have
Sometimes I
forgotten
miss
his
stuff.
name already.
I don't think.
Yeah. Do you have a
I don't-
question that you did?
No, I was thinking, I didn't think Rep Cooper messed up.
You don't think he won?
No, he was not.
No question.
No.
Just clarifying for others.
Oh, but you missed that it was in Utah. No, I was in Salt Lake City. Did I not tell you that?
No, I think that like, that's what I missed. Okay, yeah, we're gonna just.
We're good. We're
Friday
good.
afternoon.
Pepsi spill is happening right now.
Yeah. And then another, interesting portion of the weekend was that they had an open kind of roundtable discussion with secretaries of state and legislators sharing back and forth, different things that we could do to help each other, help the Secretary of State's office and for them to help legislators. A lot of it came down to, finances and money and making sure that those offices are well funded. That was common across all secretaries of state, no matter what political affiliation they had, is that they were hoping to be adequately or increasingly funded as things move forward. And you know, the things that were there wasn't really any controversy necessarily, but the things that people probably disagreed on the most were, you know, had the most thoughtful discussion about. Ranked choice voting came up several times, which we discussed at length over the last biennium, maybe not last year, but in 2023, I believe we talked about it a lot, which perhaps we'll delve into again this biennium. And so ranked choice voting was definitely something that there were clear opinions that were, no one was really halfway about it. Another area that seemed like it was really kind of one way or the other was ID, presenting an ID when you go to vote. That seemed like something that people had either a really strong opinion on either way. And those were the two things that I think came up the most as topics that were engaged the most people in the most conversation, but things that might come up for us, I think, in the next couple of years. So I can point you in the direction of resources if you need or want to learn more about those things.
It's interesting that Vermont is one of the very few states that still does elections by town, where most states do it by county.
Mhm.
And then they have a whole elections division within their state. So that's something we'd hope that we would never get rid of, that it would stay at the local level.
Correct. I mean, we don't have a county system of government and most other states do.
Less in Connecticut,
So,
as far as the New England states go, I think.
yeah, so we did get to go. It was kind of amazing. The Davis County Elections Office, it was very beautiful and like fresh and new. And we got to go in and the way that they have it all set up. And one thing that I believe the gentleman from MIT shared with us is that the number one thing, there were two things, and now I'm blanking on what one of them was. The other number one thing that inspired people to feel confident in their elections and the integrity of them was being able to watch. So they have, you know, these secure election rooms, and it's a county of 200,000 people. So, you know, that's a third of our population of our entire state. So it's very, it is this one county. But they had their election room. I mean, we got to go in and see all the machines, and it was very cool. And he walked us through the process and the automated opening machine and all that stuff. It was really neat. But they also, when they had just renovated part of their elections building, and they had all these windows in the hallway, so people could stand and look like all down the hallway, like bulletproof glass, so that people could stand there and look. And I was thinking about this, you know, statistic, that that's the thing that made people feel so much confidence in their elections, that they could watch them. And I imagined that there would just be like dozens of people like standing there, like, you know, trying to peek. And he said the most they ever had watching the election was 2 people at once. So maybe just the presence of those windows and the opportunity to look was enough to make people feel like things were open and above board. But that was an interesting thing to see as well. So that's all I got for you. It was cool.
How does it feel? The ranking member.
Oh, thank you. It feels the same as being a non-ranking member, but I'm sitting here.
You're in
instead of over
charge right
there.
now,
Yeah,
like-
thanks. Yeah, I mean, it feels natural. Sure.
Thank you.
So I think that we are done. That was 15 minutes of filling you in on the elections. No other questions about anything else? Okay, then I think we are ready